Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist to the Abyss, and this is my review for Hunter x Hunter episode 137. Now, I want to get into the episode, but before that, I need to talk about that new opening, because it's very Zoldyck-centric, okay? We saw different Zoldycks in there, like Illumi and Kahlua, that mystery younger brother. We saw like a bunch of different butlers and crap, alright? Um, we, so it's interesting that the Zoldycks are finally going to get back into the story. Um, we see Ging or Jing or whatever you want to call him. I'll call him Ging and Cheeto having a little face off there at one point with Pariston in the background, and we saw Leorio actually doing something, which shocked me because Leorio used to be one of my favorite characters, but then I realized that there was no point in liking him because he never does anything. So I just stopped caring. I mean, I still like him, just not nearly as much as I did before, to the point where he'd be one of my favorite characters. All right. So him doing something is awesome. Right after that, we saw that picture of Gon smiling. So maybe he's going to be the one that heals Gon because he is trying to become a doctor and stuff, right? So yeah, that seems like something that could happen. Um, Either that or the mystery younger Zoldyck, because the Zoldyck kid showed up right after Gon at 1.2. So I don't know, one of those two. But yeah, good opening. I liked it. Uh, and yeah, it introduced us to the Zodiacs, right? And out of all the Zodiacs, one of my favorite ones is Pariston, alright? Seriously, this dude is a trip, alright? He is a trip, alright? I posted on Crunchyroll. The dude is a creepy, irritable slime ball piece of crap, alright? But he's a funny, creepy, irritable piece of slime ball piece of crap, alright? The dude's hilarious. Everything he does, everything he says makes me laugh. Alright, literally everything. this dude showed up late, all right, and still is trying to lead the meeting, acting like it's only natural for him to lead, all right. But no one wants him to lead. But no one else is willing to step up and lead the meeting because they know that if they do that, he's just going to give them a hard time, all right. So by being that irritating creep, all right, he ends up getting whatever he wants, all right, and he tries to just say screw the election. I'm gonna become chairman, and everybody got those shining red eyes except for Ging. Ging was just like, who cares, whatever. All right, but everyone else got those big red eyes and stuff. All right, and they're like, dude, no, that's not gonna fly. All right, so he's like, okay, fine, fine, fine. All right, but you gotta admit, I'm right for chairman. You guys aren't, because you guys, just like Netero, you're too strong. You can't understand the weak. All right, I can understand the weak though. And Peon's like, dude, all you would do is make the weak your slaves, just like you've been doing. All right, and freaking, what's the dude's name? The ox, Mizystum. This dude says, dude, you realize ever since you came to power, there have been 18 hunters that have disappeared. 18. It's one thing for a hunter to die, but for a hunter to just up and disappear, that like never happens. 0.6 hunters disappear per year on average, okay? And now it's 18 in the last 3 ever since you took office. No, that's not gonna happen. All right. and, and Pearson says, hey, I don't know, maybe if I became chairman, people would stop disappearing. So, this dude is essentially taking hunters hostage so that he can become chairman, alright? This dude Mizai stuff, he got pissed. He got up, he was about to beat that dude's behind all up and down that conference room. But Ging stopped him and said, you know what? I'll run. Alright? And we see the reaction of everybody. No one wanted him to be chairman either. That was funny. Alright? And Pariston, he doesn't want him to be chairman either. He doesn't even want him to run. So he says, "Oh, I heard about your son. His life's in danger. That's a shame. Maybe I should visit him. Oh, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't, because it would be bad if he died right after I visited him." All right, the dude's clearly just threatening Gon's life right here, and Ging doesn't budge at all. He's like, "Hey, go ahead, visit him. He's not gonna die because of you." All right, so like, dude, he doesn't even get angry about it. He's like, he just doesn't even really care. We've already figured out that Ging isn't a very good father because the way because he kind of just had a son and then abandoned him as when he was a child and well, going to still a child, but you know what I mean. He just abandoned him and just went to have fun throughout the world and said, "Screw my son, he'll find me eventually. Better get strong enough to find me though first." You know, like we've already established that he's not a very good father, but at least in this scene, he shows a little bit of confidence in his son, though we don't really know if it was actual confidence and it was just his cover story for not giving a crap. But anyway, um, point is that Ging is awesome and Pariston is awesome too. The dude is hilarious. All right, the dude's freaking hilarious. Um, but after all these shenanigans, they decide to actually work on the election process itself and decide how they want to go about running this. All right, and they they just decide, or Cheadle decides. Cheadle just decides, you know what, we're gonna have lots. We're each gonna write down an option, and Beans is gonna come in and choose. All right, and the dude comes in, looks directly at Ging, and then and then goes to pick it. I'm like, no, man, no, no, no. There's clearly some suspicious crap going on here, right? The dude just came and looked directly at Ging, went and then picked Ging's line. I'm like, no, 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 no. So clearly something went down. All right, we learned that a couple days before, Ging went to him and told him, "Here's what I want." All right, I'm predicting this is going to happen, and of course it happened in shonen fashion. All right, and he told him exactly what he wanted, explained all of his rules. All right, and his I, I remember thinking when I first saw this, like, this dude Ging looked at Beans, now all of a sudden his lot was picked. This dude must have the eyes of Shisui Chiha or something like that. This dude must be controlling Beans behind the scenes or something. Alright, but no, that didn't happen. Uh, but we end up seeing his rules, and it turns out that rule number one, not only are all the hunters voters, but they're candidates as well. All right. Rule number two: if the winner doesn't get a majority of the votes with at least 95% of people voting, then there's going to be a runoff election with the top 16. If that person doesn't get a majority of the votes, it's going to be another runoff election with the top 8, and then so forth and so on, cutting it in half until a winner finally gets the majority of the vote, which is going to take a while because these hunters cannot these dudes cannot agree on anything. Imagine what the rest of them are like. Alright, seriously. Alright, so that's going to take a while. Also, another thing, there are no anonymous votes, which absolutely no one wanted, because that means if you can figure out who voted for who, you can try and go to those people and try to convince them to vote for you. It's the reason Ging did this was because it made things more interesting. Alright, it makes things more interesting. That's why. So he wants to see how people try to manipulate the votes and stuff. So that that was interesting, but not the most interesting rule. The last rule was the most interesting rule. It pretty much says Ging wins. All right, which I thought Pariston was going to be the one to pull that crap. I was sitting there thinking, this dude Pariston already tried to say, "How about I just become chairman?" So this dude's going to make his election process, "I'm the new chairman. Screw the election. I'm the new chairman." All right. But Ging made that his rule 5, and Pariston told him, "Nah, nah, nah. The chairman should be chosen separately." And he says, "Okay." So yeah, people are like, "Wait, what? What?" But it turns out it was all psychological. All right. He left that last rule as a decoy so that people would obsess over that, and then when he does decide to concede that, they'd be more willing to accept because they'd feel like they got him to negotiate a little bit. All right, so they'd feel like they brought him down, that they better say yes now before he changes his mind, So, uh, and they did accept his terms, so that worked out well for him. And like I mentioned before, he gave the rules to Beans a few days earlier. All right, so that was just cool to see Ging's preparation. All right, and after that, the election starts. All right, it was cool seeing this because we saw a lot of people who we haven't seen in a while. We saw some of the proctors from the Hunter exams, that ninja dude, some of the participants from the exam itself. We saw some dudes from Greed Island, like the dude who played dodgeball with them. We saw Biscuit. We saw, oh, what's that dude's name? We saw that dude who taught Gon and Killua Nen, who had freaking the one kid who in the Heavens Arena arc, um, You know who I'm talking about. The dude whose shirt was always messed up. All right. We saw them. I think I saw some dudes from York knew. Like I saw one of the guys who that rich family hired to protect to do whatever. I don't even remember at this point. But we saw some of those dudes. Hisoka was there assessing the zodiacs, and everyone else to decide who to fight. But in the end, he was just like zodiacs. But then Illumi showed up, so that was cool. All right, and we see a conversation with Hisoka and Illumi at the end, where he tells Hisoka that both Gon and Killua are gonna die. All right, and Illumi doesn't want that because he needs them for his plans, whatever they may be. And he says that he wants to go kill that younger mystery Zodiac brother. And since we see Killua hanging out with him in the opening, it makes me think that that Zodiac brother is going to be the reason for Killua's death. At first, I thought it was going to be their father because he said Killua was going to go talk to their father. But then with this mystery younger brother stuff, it's probably going to be him. All right. So yeah, so interesting. We got all the best characters back now, so that's going to be interesting. Hisoka, Illumi, the Zoldyck family. It's all good. Leorio's finally coming back. We might see some Kurapika, maybe, though he had his time in York. They need to let Togashi needs to let Leorio do something for once. Seriously. All right. But yeah, that's. I guess I'll just talk about the results. Pariston won with 37.6% of the vote, which is not enough. All right. So there's going to be a runoff election with the top 16. So the other results were funny because even freaking Morel got some votes. Morel got some, Ging got some, freaking Nove got some. So clearly whoever voted for him hasn't seen him lately. All right. Hisoka got some votes. Gon got a vote. Freaking Kite got a vote. So whoever Kite got some votes. So whoever. Though, hey, maybe they were talking about little kid Kite. I don't know. Nah, they weren't. They were talking about actual Kite. So clearly, whoever voted for Kite doesn't really know his situation either, just like with Nove. So that was it. That was actually kind of interesting. But yeah, that's it, you guys. That's it for this episode. That's all that happens. And I thought this episode was great. This was hilarious. I had a good time with this episode, just like I had a good time with this review. This was a funny episode. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I honestly thought it was pretty funny. It was really, really funny. We got introduced to the Zodiacs and Ging, and we got to see their personalities and all that. The election started. It ended. We got the runoff election coming up next. We got some progression for the story, so we know what's going to happen later with the Zoldyck, and Illumi, Ahsoka, etc., etc., etc. All right, so let me take a breath. So you can see I'm excited, all right? So I'm liking this arc so far. So I'll give the episode a 9 out of 10. It did a great job of getting me to look forward to what comes next and just progressing the story, introducing characters, blah, blah, blah. I said all that already. So episode gets a 9 out of 10, all right? Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.